Hey friends, welcome back to Stappystamper. My name is Terry Stapp and I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator located in Central Texas. And today we're going to be talking about Stampin' Up's February product of the month. So this month, this is the card we're going to make. I'm going to come back to it in just a second. This month, we have some paper. Looks like this. The coordinating colors are Darling Duckling, Flirty Flamingo, Granny Apple Green, Lost Lagoon, Misty Moonlight, Petal Pink, and Pretty Peacock. So, it is 12 sheets. There's 4 different pages, front and back. So you get 3 sheets of each. So I just want to go through the paper real quick and show you the front and the back. Of the papers. Here we go. And today we're going to be focusing on this sheet right here. Both sides. So we're going to use paper from this side. Paper, yes, we're going to use the paper. The image from that side and then the image from this side as well. So I'm going to tell you that when I saw this particular piece, I thought of mermaids right away. And the town in which I live in Texas is officially the Mermaid Capital of Texas. So I knew I had to make a mermaid card. So let's talk about the card today. In my mind, I had the little step card. I'm going to call this, I think let's call it a 2-step card. We have a Texas 2-step. So there's 2 steps. Let's call it a 2-step card. The base is just a regular 4 1/4 by 11 scored at 5.5. And then you have some little extra pieces of cardstock that you glue on there to make your little steps. And then our little mermaid is diving back down into the water. And we have some more of that glimmer paper with our words on it. And I did find this in the stash. It's not available any longer, but it is Supple Shimmer. In case you happen to have any of this in your stash, there is a pink piece and then kind of that light blue piece that I used here. But since there is pink on our paper, you can see it kind of goes from blue to pink. We're going to actually try this card and see what it looks like using the pink paper to make a pink mermaid tail. And we're going to give this one a try. So next thing I'm going to do, I have all of the pieces cut for us with sticky notes for the sizes. So I'm going to go through real quick, show you the different papers, the different sizes, the dimensions for cutting, go through the little knickknacks. I'm going to explain how I made this little mermaid tail, and then we'll get started making the card. So stick with me and I'll see you right back here. Alrighty, so let's talk about our materials to make this amazing mermaid card. I'm using Pretty Peacock as the base. So I have the card base is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5.5. Then you have some other pieces. I have one that is 4 by 4 1/4, and it is scored at 1/2, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5. with the 4-inch side across the top. So this is the 4-inch side, and I scored it at these points. You have another piece that is 3.5 by 4 1/4. This one is scored at 1.5, 1/2, 1, 2.5, 3, with the 3.5-inch side across the top. This is the 3.5-inch side, and I scored it at these points. I'm using Granny Apple Green as the matte color. So I have one piece that is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Another piece that is 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. A piece that is 1 3/8 by 4 1/8. And then 7/8 by 4 1/8. Your DSP is 2 3/4 by 4. 1 1/4 by 4, 3/4 by 4. And then we have a stack of what I'm calling knickknacks. So these are all the little bits and pieces once you get the card and the mat, the designer series paper put together. These are all the little pieces that make it really, really eye-catching. For the knickknacks, I used the Rolling Waves dice. Now, this is new. It's coming out at the beginning of March 3rd, I believe, but don't quote me on that. It's another great ocean type die set and stamp set. From that, I got the little waves and another little piece from one of the dies. From the Words of Beauty set, I have our sentiment because I used the dies in that pink glimmer paper and then backed it on Pretty Peacock. And then I Think You're Amazing, stamped in Pretty Peacock and cut out with one of the dies. Let's see. These little frond thingies also came from the Rolling Waves. And then Seaside Wishes dies. Those are from quite, well, not too long ago, but they're old, from an old set. And we have our little grassy stems. I have 6 cut out, and then little half pieces for the inside. And then we have our 1/2 inch and 3/8 of an inch strip for the inside of the card at the bottom. And then let's talk about our mermaid tail. So I'm going to bring you down just a little bit. Okay. I knew that I wanted to make a mermaid card, but in my mind, I wanted just the tail. I didn't want the whole mermaid and like a stamp or anything like that. I just wanted this piece kind of sticking up out of the water. So I got on a Google Doc and I inserted an image that I searched. I used the search in the, actually it wasn't a Google Doc, it was a Google slide. And I used the image search and it was from the stock photos. And so I chose one and I printed it off on my computer, on my printer to make a template. Then I used this piece to cut out, I traced it on some basic white cardstock. Okay. And that is going to be what is going to give my cards, or the mermaid tail, a little bit of, make it a little bit more sturdy. Okay. So then I took this piece and I chose the paper that has like the mermaid scales or the fish scales on there. And I laid this over that paper and traced around it where I wanted the mermaid scales. And then I fussy cut it out and I glued that on there. And then I took my tail and laid that on the glimmer paper and traced that and cut that out. And then I glued all the little pieces together. Okay, so that is how I came up with my little mermaid tail that's going to be sticking up out of the water. I used the blue one here. So that paper, remember, is kind of ombre, going from like a light pink to a darker, deeper blue. I used the blue ones on this one, and then I decided to make a pink one. Let's see what happens with the pink. Okay, those are the pieces that you are going to need, the materials that you're going to need to make this card. Next step is we are going to start putting it together. So get your adhesive out and let's get started. All right, let's put this card together. So just as a reminder, this is the card that we're making with the 2 little steps. Really, that's probably going to be the hardest part. It's not hard, but that's going to be the hardest part in case you're looking at the card going, oh, that I can't do that. Of course you can do that. We're going to go step by step, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. We're going to make a few changes. I've used the pink mermaid tail paper with the pink shimmer paper here and here, and I did change this up just a little bit with a pretty peacock mat on the words, just to check it out and see how it looks. Okay, let's start with our pretty peacock pieces. So here's our base card, and then we have our 2 pieces that are going to make the step for our base card. So I'm going to get my bone folder, and your bottom step is going to be the one that is 4 by 4 1/4. And we're going to start with our bottom step. All right, I have 4 score lines. So I'm going to take my bone folder and just really burnish those score lines so we get some really nice creases in there. All right, now glue. I'm going to use liquid glue, and I'm going to put liquid glue right here on one of the tabs here, and I'm going to glue that tab down at the bottom of my card. So if you can kind of see here, it's going to get folded like that, and eventually it's going to get adhered just like that to the bottom of my card. But to start, let's just start with the first one. I'm going to put glue here, and I will recommend liquid glue for this part. And I'm going to line it up down here at the bottom. Actually, I want to there we go, unfold that so I can see what I'm doing. If you hear any noises, my husband is cooking dinner. Thank you, honey. Okay, that's great. Next step is we are going to put more glue right here on this little tab and just fold it over. And then we have our bottom step. See, that was not hard at all. All right, let's do the next part. So you have another piece of pretty peacock. I'm going to get my bone folder back out, and we're going to burnish the score lines on this one as well. Okay, same drill. This piece is going right, can you see that? It's going right here. Okay, so it's going to go just like that. So let's do that first little part. Let's put it on this end tab. Oh. And we're just going to put that tab right there next to this one. Okay, next to our first step. Now we're going to put adhesive here, and these two are going to get adhered together. So let's do that. A little bit more adhesive. And this is going to get glued to the top of that first step. Okay, easy peasy so far. We're almost there. We have one more. We need this piece here to get adhered to the backing right there. Okay, you see how that's coming together? It's going to fold around the back just like that. Let's put some adhesive here. We're going to fold that one down. And make our second step, just like that. Okay, note that it does fold down. Okay, it folds down so that you can fit it in an envelope. All right, that's it. That's the base of our card. So let's start putting some of our mats and designer series paper on there. All right, I'm going to bring in, have a bunch of little pieces here. Okay, let's go with our 2 7/8 by 4 1/8 and our 2 3/4 by 4. So these two are going to get adhered together just like that. And then they are going to live right here at the top of our card. I'm going to switch over to some tape runner if I can find it. Let's see. Yep. Nope, I don't want that one. This one's out. Okay. Hold, please. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm going to find some tape and I'll be right back. All right, I have my adhesive. I am almost out, so we'll see how long this one lasts. But we're going to put adhesive and then put these two together. And then more adhesive. And it's going to live right. You know what I want to do first? Hold. Don't do that yet. Okay, I have these two put together. I didn't do this one on the first card, but I want to do it this way this time, is before I glue this on my card base. I'm going to go ahead and put these like little palm fronds on here, and then I can trim away anything that I don't want. And this is going to end up sticking to my glass mat, but we'll fix it. Okay, glue there, and then I want this one right down here. All right, let's see if I can peel this up. There we go. Okay, there's some sticking up, so I'm going to take some scissors and I'm just going to trim that part off like that. Okay, now let's put this down right about there. I think I'm going to like that one a little bit better. Okay. Next up is going to be, let's do this one. So you're going to need your 1 3/8 by 4 1/8 and your 1 1/4 by 4. I think I'm going to use some liquid glue for this one. Just go like this. And put these two together. Okay. And like this. I'm trying to keep those lines going in the same direction. Okay. Liquid glue on the back of here. And there we go here. And finally, you have a 7/8 by 4 1/8, and then a 3/4 by 4. And it is going to go at the front of our first step. So let's put those two together. And which way do I need to turn it? There it goes, just like that. Okay. Adhesive going on. And then this is going to live right here on the front of my card. Okay. Now let's do some decorating. So in your knickknacks, you have some pieces of like seagrass or seaweed, or if you're living in my town, we could call this the Texas wild rice, which is an endangered species that lives in our river, and it is currently being protected. All right, so we're going to put some here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to back up one more time. We have this part done. Now I think I want to put on my mermaid tail, because that can help me place my grass. So if I do my mermaid tail, let's see, just to get a feel. I want to make sure I have room. I don't want to put it way over here and then you can't see the sentiment. I think that'll work. Okay, so I'm going to put some glue right back here on my mermaid tail. And then it's going to live right about there. Lovely. Okay, now I'm going to put some grass on here. I'll move this real quick. And let's put our grass pieces. So I'm just going to add it right down here. Some glue on the back. And there's our first piece. And then, how about a little piece? Put some glue down here. And maybe this one's going to look like that. And then we have a third piece. Glue down at the bottom. And I think it needs to kind of stick up right there. Okay, let's do the other side. What if we put some glue here? And then put our grass right here. And some more glue down here. And add it there. And then this piece can come up in the middle. Just like that. Or maybe not like that. Let's try to actually get it stuck on there. Just like that. Okay, now we have some pieces that are kind of like wave-y type things. I did cut them out of brown, thinking it might be the bottom of the river. So that's kind of what that's meant to be. I have one piece that's going to live right here, and we will add adhesive here. And we'll just cover up the bottom of that grass. And then this piece is going to get some more adhesive here. And it's going to live right here on the second step. And our little mermaid has her tail sticking up out of the water. Lovely. All right. Now we have the because that's going to come right up here. I'm going to use glue for that one. So here comes some liquid glue across the back. Let's see. Make sure the words are straight. All right, this piece is going to get some dimensionals. So I have I'm using the last little pieces here. What if I cut one of those? Use all your dimensionals. Don't throw this piece, the outline piece, away, because these will work just as well as the regular dimensionals, and you can cut them to whatever size you need them to be. So don't throw those away. There we go. One more. All right. And then this is going to live right about there. That'd be really cute if it said, I think you're mermazing, but the words of beauty don't have mermazing. It says amazing. So that's what we're going to stick with. Okay, let's do the inside of our card. Now, as I was playing with the pieces, I noticed that I did not have the white piece that is 5 1/4 by 4. So I'm going to cut a piece and then we'll finish the inside of our card. Okay, I have my piece here, freshly cut. To finish off this card, you're going to need your Granny Apple Green. That is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. You need your 2 little strips of paper, and then you need these little half pieces of I'm going to call it Texas Wild Rice. It's really not. I'm sure it's seaweed or something, but since we're doing a card inspired by my hometown, we're going to call it Texas Wild Rice. All right, that gets glued on here, and then this is going to go across the bottom of our card. Move it up just a little bit. Put it here and here. I'm going to take my snips, cut this off, cut this off, and I'm just going to take my little pieces and glue them to the bottom. All right, I'm going to start with this one. Oh, let me try that again because I'm getting glue everywhere. All right, if you're using green glue, this is why I don't always use green glue, because if I were using green glue, though I love it, that would have gotten glue everywhere. So if you are clumsy, I don't know if clumsy stamper is the right words for it, but if you drop things, sometimes I like to use not green glue. All right, I'm going to trim the end off this one real quick. Give it a little angle. There we go. Adhesive on the back. Don't drop it. Let's let it live right there. Okay, we have our Texas Wild Rice down here at the bottom. And I'm going to get my other adhesive back out that is about to run out. We'll see if I can finish this card. And this is going to go right here. Like that. And then this is going to go on the inside of our card. Okay, open this up. And this is going to live right here. On the inside. Perfect. Okay. A two-step card because it has two steps. And we have our mermaid, and I showed you how to make the little mermaid tail. And we open it up, and you have plenty of room to write your message to whomever you're sending it. It does fold like this. You'll just kind of crease it down like that, stick it in your envelope. It is going to be a little bit thicker, so you may have to add extra postage or just hand deliver it. But I guarantee you, your recipient is going to be amazed and want to know how in the world you made this lovely card. Okay, this was a pop-up video, nothing really scheduled. Just whenever I get the product of the month cards done, I do a video. So we'll see you. Let's see. I think the next one is coming on Wednesday, where we're using our beautiful butterflies and some vellum to make another amazing card. Until then, stappy stamping.